where he started in the lean mass method. We took him through the priming phase, took him through the depletion phase. Look at this absolute beast. Changing physique. Nice, getting lean. 6 whole eggs. We've got ground beef, okay, extra lean. The priming phase and the depletion phase is to burn fat, add muscle, and not become a skinny little bitch at the end of it, okay? What's up, gents? So excuse the positioning on the couch right now. I'm just trying to sit to reduce as much pain as possible at the moment. These past 2 weeks have been a hell of a struggle. It's really pushed me to my limits in terms of the injury. I need to go in for a surgery. I've been needing surgery for the past 10 months. For those of you that don't know, I'll get into that in a moment. But these past 2 weeks have really tested my limits. It's gotten so much worse. I haven't been able to train whatsoever, but luckily I've still been able to make some really good progress. And that is because of how I've structured my meal plan. Even on the days that I can't train, I structured things in a specific type of way to ensure that I still make progress. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I break that down at the end of this video so that you can implement it yourself for being able to lose fat and make sure that you do not lose muscle tissue in the process, and you actually build it in the process as well. Now, so for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm Eugene, okay? What I do is I help as many guys as I possibly can build a killer mindset, adopt specific habits to help further in life. Not just that, I help people build lean quality mass. Okay, I've done so with dozens and dozens of my clients. And currently, for those of you guys who haven't been following the process, I have been following the lean mass method, the method that I've implemented, the method that has taken me years to develop through trial by error, so that I can show you guys exactly how I'm going through that and I'm implementing myself. This has been week 8. Now, obviously week 7 and week 8, I haven't been able to train because of that injury. Let's talk a little bit more about that surgery. So I've herniated 3 discs, which has been an absolute fuck up. I mean, listen, I'm 26 years old and I've only been able to really maybe give 30% of my effort, right? 30% of my ability, of my capability. And it's been, it's been tough. Luckily, I've developed a mindset that's helped me come through this. I've developed certain strategies that's helped me get past this, because I mean, I went from benching like 200 kilograms, which is what, 400 and something pounds, to not even being able to put on my damn pants properly, right? I have to ask my girlfriend to help me put on my pants. I have to ask my girlfriend to help me put on my shoes. But this isn't a sympathy. I'm not explaining this with sympathy. I'm going to tell you guys what I went through this week. I was shit scared. I posted it on my social media. I was super scared because I felt like a little bitch, honestly, posting this. But it's helped people, right? I had people reach out to me and say this has helped so much. And I thought it would, because all of us go through these types of things, right? Life can really throw shit our way and we don't always have full control over it. But what we do have full control over is how we look at that situation, how we reframe our mindset, because complaining about it, feeling sorry for yourself isn't really going to bring any change, right? It's not going to get you where you want to get to. And it's also just going to piss a bunch of people off around you. So I've had to completely reframe that as well. So this week I broke down, right? I fucking broke down. It got to me, these past 10 months have been tough. These past 2 weeks, even worse, where it slowly started getting better, as you guys would have seen in the journey, from week 1 to week 6, it started getting better, right? And then something happened and I just tweaked it, and I've been in contact with the surgeons. I can't wait for the medical aid anymore. So the medical aid was this whole, some bullshit exclusion or something like that, hidden exclusion. And I can only upgrade my plan at the end of the year, or beginning of next year rather. So I was trying to wait it out, but I can't do it anymore. I'm going to try and go in for the surgery next week. The surgeon is going on a holiday on Tuesday. Absolute nightmare. So hopefully, I'm really praying that I can get that surgery done. On Monday, which is, yeah. But it's been tough. We work through it. Life goes on. And you know what? I found a way to actually let the situation benefit me. And that's how I've been able to reframe my mindset. Now, it's a 5-step process that I use anytime I've got a shit situation. And that is, so the 5-step strategy that I use is 5 steps. Okay, the first one is I analyze my situation. Okay, do I have control over it? Do I not have control over it? Then from there, I will acknowledge what is going on, because acknowledgement is, yes, I've got every right to feel the way that I feel. My feelings are valid. Like, if you're in a shit position and you don't have control over it, you have every right to feel shit, right? You have every right to be pissed off, but it's still not going to do anything, right? Having those feelings isn't going to change anything. And then after I acknowledge what the situation is, I then take the next step, and what I do is I'm grateful, right? I look for the things that I'm really grateful for in my life, because, at the end of the day, it could be so much worse. And any one of you guys that has access to a phone and you have the ability to watch this means that it could be so much worse. Like, your shit position could be so much worse. And then from there, I will see how I can benefit from this situation, like how I can bend it to my will. And then after that, I will find a solution to the problem and make it happen. Now, I'm going to go into depth with this in a video, because there is a little bit more, it is a little bit deeper. I'll be posting that next week. I'll do like a little mind map for you guys, so you have much better understanding, and so that you can actually implement it yourself. Okay, because like I said, life gives you lemons, right? Sometimes, whatever that saying is, make bloody tequila out of it, because complaining is not gonna do anything about that. But anyway, so by the end of this video, you're gonna have a much better understanding. I mean, we're gonna do the check-ins now, like I do. Even though my back is effed up, I'm still gonna stay consistent. I'm still gonna stick to it. I haven't been that consistent with a bunch of videos. I've been man down. I mean, I've been barely sleeping, waking up at like fucking 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. in major pain. I had to start taking painkillers again, which I absolutely hate doing, but I've had to do so. Okay, otherwise I just can't sleep and I just can't be productive the next day. But by the end of this, you guys are going to know exactly what to do with regards to structuring your meal plan. I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight of why I do specific carb cycling, how I have been able to, because yes, I still weigh myself throughout the week every now and then, and I've made progress. Okay, we're going to see exactly what that progress is in a minute, but I'm super stoked, right? I'm starting to get leaner even without training. I'm very happy with the results so far, and I think this week is going to bring even better results. But you guys can see for yourself. And then all the things that I provide, guys, like literally, there's almost 8 weeks now. This is going to be the 8th week of information, me literally making changes. There's an entire video of the lean mass method, of how I explain, because so many of you guys come to me like in my DMs and say, I've been stuck at this plateau. I want to achieve this physique, but I just can't get there. But too many of you guys are looking to achieve like a level 10 physique, right? But you're still implementing the basics. You can't do level 1 to level 3 strategies if you are wanting to achieve level 10. You need to do the level 10 strategies, and it's that simple, right? Level 1 would be something like starting to drink more water, cutting out sodas. Level 2 would be something like starting to implement a whole foods meal plan. Level 3 would be something like you finally taking your calories, your macro, or not your macros, but you're tracking your calories. The next levels are things like the macro split, carb cycling, how that links with your training protocols, and a bunch of other things as well. So don't expect a level 10 transformation if you're still doing those level 3. So most of you guys have been training for a super long time. Most of you guys have seen progress, and majority of you guys have just hit a plateau, and it's about getting past that tipping point, right? If you want to take it to the next level, you got to implement those next level things. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my check-ins. I'm going to see what the weight is. I'm going to see what progress, and of course what the visuals are showing, so you guys have a good representation at the end of it as well. I'm going to hop into my dashboard on the app, the exact same app, my app that I have all my clients on, to track all of their stats, and you guys can see the transformation that has been made in these past couple of weeks. But yeah, super excited. Then I'm going to go through the rest of my morning routine. Still nice and early. I'm still fasted. I haven't eaten yet, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to have for breakfast. and explain why I've had that breakfast. Okay, then I'm going to do some client check-ins before that. Then I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the morning routine, because obviously I haven't been able to do my faster cardio, I haven't been able to do my training, so I've had to implement certain things, okay, because a morning routine is crucial. A morning routine is going to set you up for success. If I don't have my morning routine in place, I won't be set for the day. If I don't have my structures and my systems in place, staying disciplined becomes so much more difficult, right? Because a lot of people don't realize is they think all of these major successful people have got like the craziest willpower, right? The craziest discipline. But that's not the fact at all. It's because they've set up systems and structures that actually work for them, that allows them to get to that level, right? Where they don't even have to use discipline that often because of how well everything is set up. But guys, let's see what those check-ins are doing, and I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, got the check-ins done, made some progress. I'm pretty damn happy, to be completely honest with you. 3 pounds lost, and remember, that is without training. That's without being able to do any of my fasted cardio protocols. So I'm pretty damn stoked with that. Yeah, and that's because I've been implementing my low day meal plans for the days that I'm not training. I've been sticking to those. I've made the adjustments which I did last week. And that's why the progress is showing, and that's why the progress is going to keep happening for the next couple of weeks. So super happy with that. But now I need to sit down. I got a bunch of client updates I got to do. Got guys moving into new phases. I'm going to talk about some clients today, about what I went through this week, some things that they have struggled with, things that we implemented to ensure that they no longer struggle with that and they can continue to see progress and adhere and stick to the plan. Because at the end of the day, consistency, showing up is going to beat perfection. Okay, doesn't matter how perfect the plan is, if you cannot stay consistent, if you don't have those habits, those techniques locked in, then it's not gonna mean anything. Okay, and I've got 2 guys moving into new phases. They've absolutely killed their phases with this lean mass method. One guy is moving into a growth phase, CJ, and I've got another guy, Renato, who has just completed his optimal phase, and we're going to be moving back into a mini depletion phase, and mini priming phase. Okay, he's barely picked up any fat, but we're just going to get rid of that little bit of fat that's been added and really just bring out that definition. And I'll actually pop that on the screen just now, and I'll explain how that's gone. So let's start off with, I've got a client, Sunny, right? He reached out to me. He's been going through the growth phase, absolutely killing it. I'll show you a progress photo here of what it looks like. But he has just started a new business, right? And his business, I don't know, it's got something to do with CBD or something like this, but he's also running a different business in the background as well. It's a meal prep business. But since starting this, as those of you who know, who are entrepreneurs, who run businesses, specifically when you start a new one, like you've got a bunch of stuff you've got to do. Okay, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of strategizing, there's a lot of implementation that needs to happen. So he's found it very, very difficult to adhere to his meal plan. So what I've told him, so I first asked him, okay, because he's trying to get all of his meals in. The first thing I asked, are those meals prepped? Yes, he's been with me, so he's been prepping the meals. That's perfect. Now he's struggling to find time because he'll just get so focused in work mode that he just doesn't get to all of his meals. So here's exactly what we've done. So, and this is why structure and personalization is so important. If you get cookie cutter shit, it's just not going to work. It's not going to stick, right? That's why your schedule has to be structured based around your training, or your training needs to be based around your schedule, as well as your eating, as well as all of the other protocols. So what we did with Sunny is I told him, okay, this is what I want you to do. Just like you would set up a work schedule, I want you to do the same, and we built it together for his eating. Okay, so he's got X amount of meals. I've structured it in a way so with breakfast, pre-workout, post-workout, snacks, whatever, and then I'll say, okay, link it up with your current work schedule and literally have a time slot for when you're going to have each meal. by doing this, you know that you need to sit down and eat. So we implemented that, and then he said, yeah, he's still struggling, but it has become a lot better. So then we took it to the next step. And that next step is literally setting a timer, right? Setting a timer to ensure when that timer goes off, all he has to do is get the food out of the fridge, put it in the microwave and eat it. And how we've linked it is because if you're working, if you're grafting, it's very important to also take a couple minutes break, like 15 to 20 minutes, just to give the brain some relax, some downtime. So within that little gap, he can find it, he can implement, right? And he can start eating those meal preps. And since implementing that, he's been able to stick to the plan, he's been able to increase in weight, and we've just gone and moved forward, okay? We've been able to stay consistent. Now, another client of mine, Anthony, he has destroyed it in the lean mass method. His growth phase where he's picked up over 40 pounds of lean mass, and I'll show you guys exactly what that looks like here. But now we are moving back down into, again, a mini priming phase just to get rid of that little bit of excess fat, reprime the insulin sensitivity so he becomes a lot more responsive again to the food. So because if you have carbs in your meal plan for a very long time, especially if you're hitting like 5,600 calories, because that's what he's hitting at the moment, that's what he was at his peak, and we've dropped it back down again, you become less sensitive to insulin, okay? You become less receptive to insulin. So it's very important to go through that priming phase again. So that when the next growth phase comes again, he's picked up 5-10 pounds of lean quality muscle, not fat, lean tissue, okay? And that's what our goal is. But he's been struggling with his bicep. He's had a little bit of an injury here on his bicep, like a niggle, for the past couple of weeks. So we've implemented some changes. We've moved to pump work, not overloading that muscle because we don't want to risk damage happening, and it just hasn't been getting better. So what I've done is I've built out, we've completely taken biceps out because now we have to move into a rehab phase. So that's going to be a 3-phase rehab structure, which needs to be complete every single day, right, for the next 6 weeks. And it's going to be, we're first going to do some isometric holds, then the phase 2 will be some eccentric, and then we'll slowly start to overload that muscle again, just so we can get used to it. But that's the changes that we need to do, and that's why that's why personalization is so important, right? If you was following a cookie cutter plan, you wouldn't know what to do. But now we need to ensure for him to get further growth that is sorted. Okay, you cannot don't train something if it's causing you too much shit, right? And that was the same with me, right? I trained my back, you know. And how this injury happened was because I'm very strong, right? Upper body wise, okay? So my shoulders have always been overpowering. I've always had an overpowering bench press compared to the rest of my body. And I never squat, right? Because it always just caused back issues. So I started doing heavy ass leg press. And through the years, you know, you always get told by your friends. My dad always used to tune me like, you can't lift this heavy, shit's gonna happen. And we're like, yeah, I know, it's fine. Like I can handle it. The muscles can. Clearly, the vertebra couldn't, right? My discs couldn't handle it, and there you go, it pops. And us as humans, we always wait for that last minute, right? We always wait for that last change. When there's a actual threat is when we decide to take action, and it's so stupid. Right, you get people that get told you can't eat shit if you continue to live this unhealthy lifestyle. If you continue to do this, you're going to end up with type 2 diabetes. If you continue to smoke, you're going to end up with lung cancer. That's fine. Boom, until it happens and it's too late. And best believe I learned a lesson the hard way. I will never, ever, ever take my body for granted again. Right, to have the ability to walk, to have the ability to move around is amazing, okay? And I learned that shit the hard way, and I'm probably gonna fucking burst into tears, to be honest with you, after having that surgery, being able to walk, because this is endoscopic surgery, so I think you can walk afterwards. Like I don't have to be on bed rest for ages, so that's great. But yeah, I'm just gonna have so much more appreciation. I'm probably gonna end up doing more active things like going on hikes, going on runs, just living more of a wholesome lifestyle like that, right? Because I've been through this. I don't ever want to fucking go through this shit again. It's terrible. It's horrible. And we get people that literally just poison the fuck out of their bodies. Like they just poison it, right? why do you want to eat like shit? People ask me like, I actually got a comment, I did a questions thing, and someone asked me like, there's so many other ways to build discipline, right? There's so many other ways, like why this is exactly what they said. I'll pop this up here as well. He said, why are you so concerned about your body image? There are so many other ways to build discipline. And to be honest, I'm not concerned about my body image at all anymore, right? I used to be. I wasn't privileged enough to grow up in a situation where I was confident, right? I grew up my entire life, basically, as a kid growing up, even into high school, just being so insecure, being so shy. And yes, there were external factors, right? Like being picked on for being skinny. When you're at a school like that and it's very competitive, like you're going to get picked on for being skinny. You're going to get picked last for going to, you know, all the, what do you call that shit? Sports events, like teams. And even though a lot of it is banter, it still got to me, man. I'm a man. Like, to be a man is to be strong, to be powerful, to be like respected. That is what I feel, and I never got that growing up. So that is obviously why I started this journey, right? Because I wanted to transform how I felt in that sense with regards to confidence and all of those things. And then I just grew a love to it. I absolutely grew a love to it. Yes, it wasn't just the physique change. I wanted to build discipline in the process. Discipline that is going to take me to the next level in every factor in life. And I've got so many guys that have joined the Lean Mass Method who have literally joined for the habits, for the mindset, and for the discipline. Not so much, yes, the physique is always a cherry on top. And that's why, yes, there's so many ways to build discipline. And I use so many different ways to build discipline as well. But the beautiful thing about doing it through fitness is, first of all, you don't understand how much discipline is built when you can adhere to a meal plan, right? Because it's so easy to be tempted by like a little chocolate here, or let me just order some pizza. But in order for you to resist that temptation is next level, especially if you've gone through a depletion phase. CJ, who I'm going to talk about now, who's just completed his depletion phase, sent me a message. We've been on calls, and he told me, you know, one of the biggest things that he's so happy and appreciative for is the amount of discipline he's been able to build in this depletion phase, because it takes a lot. Even though the depletion phase isn't that long, it helps you build ridiculous discipline, right? Because you're already so close to that goal. You're looking super shredded, looking super lean. It's just that last little push, and any little temptation can like trigger that craving, right? Trigger that craving. So being able to resist that is incredible, and it will help you in so many other aspects of life. And yeah, that's why I did it through fitness. But I am fully content in my physique right now. I've never thought about that insecurity whatsoever. I've never been like, fuck, you know, are these shorts looking funny in my legs? No, because I've been able to achieve this, and I know that I can just take it more. Now at the moment, it's like seeing my full potential, right? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to get to level fucking 20, level 100. That's what I'm about now. I want to push myself to my furthest capabilities, and that's with everything in life. I thrive with that, right? And I'm a big believer, like a man without a purpose, without a mission, is a depressed man. But too much rambling, let's get on to who else. Okay, so we spoke about Sunny, we spoke about Anthony, now we got CJ. So here's a transformation of CJ. This is where he started in the Lean Mass Method. We took him through the priming phase, took him through the depletion phase. Look at this absolute beast. Changing physique, and now today he's literally going to be uploading his progress photos. Let's actually see if he's uploaded it. Let's have a look if he's uploaded it, because he's US based, so it should be okay. He hasn't uploaded it yet, but he's going to be uploading today, and I'm pushing in the carbs. You see that look that you just saw now? I'll pop it up again. That is going to be improved way better. This isn't even his best look. This is depleted of carbs, and now as soon as we push that in, it's just going to get pushed to the muscles. It's going to be utilized in the efficient way, and he's just going to fill up. But I'll update you guys on what that looks like the first week of going into the growth phase for him. Next week, in week 9, hopefully I've got the surgery done as well. So hopefully next week's going to be a ridiculous week for all of us, all the clients, but that's that. Then lastly, I've got Renato, who has just finished his growth and optimal phase. He's picked up like 28 pounds or something, 28 to 30 pounds during this growth phase. And you can see the complete difference. And now we're just going to cut off that last little bit of fat. We're just going to get that definition to show before we move into the next growth phase. But I'm super stoked, super happy with my clients. We've got a decent amount of guys on board on the lean mass method, going through their own journey, all in different stages, different phases, all with different macro splits, all with different protocols and strategies, right? Because majority of the guys that are in this program are all high professionals. Okay, they're either businessmen, they are entrepreneurs, they are very high professionals in their space. So scheduling can get very tricky, right? So we need to ensure that you don't need to train for 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours in the gym. Bro, you can literally get it done within 45 minutes with the correct implementation and the correct strategies. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is, now I'm going to complete the check-ins. I'm going to update everyone's plans with CJ as well, which I forgot to mention. I have to now personalize his plan even further because we're moving into a growth phase, but he also plays rugby. So now he's asked me, okay, we've got this physique, we're going to add strength, we're going to add size, but he also wants to work on speed. Okay, for this rugby, he's got a tournament coming up in the next couple of weeks. So that's some things that I've implemented, and I actually show you what that looks like when I go into my dashboard, and you guys can get a much better idea of what my progress pics are looking like. But guys, let me get this done. Then I'm going to go complete the rest of my morning routine. I'm going to go do my push-ups, and I'll explain why I've added that in. It's not so much for the benefits, but let me get through to that a little bit later. And then I'm gonna have my breakfast. It's time to break the fast. So let's go, baby. See you guys just now. Nice 50 push-ups done. Gonna do another set of 50, hopping around. You see, luckily that doesn't hurt my back too much. Now I'm gonna tell you exactly, guys, why I do these push-ups. It's not necessarily because it's gonna do a crazy thing for my physique. It's for another reason, but I'll tell you guys in a minute. Those are my push-ups done. I'm doing 100 a day just because I can't do my faster cardio, okay? Now, is this gonna make much of a difference to my physique? Is it gonna build muscle like crazy? Not really. I mean, it's giving me a decent pump, but no, it's not what the reason for this is. Now, I've got a morning routine, right, which I follow every single day. The reason why I follow this is because it helps me get into a state of flow. Like, I don't have to think about anything. It's become automatic because it's so built in. It's become so habitual that it just happens automatically. Okay, I wake up early, make my cup of coffee. I'll actually have my electrolytes and my glutamine first. And I would usually do something like a fasted walk. And I'll of course do my deep work session. I'll make a video on that at some point, more so when my back is sorted. But if I don't have a morning routine, or I don't have any routines in place, staying disciplined, having a good day is just not gonna work, right? So many of you guys like wake up and don't implement a morning routine, and you wonder why there's no structure, there's no flow, right? You wake up, you look at your phone first thing, and you get into this state of like overwhelm. It might be work emails, it might be a bunch of different other things, texts, finances, and then it just sets your whole day up just not in the way that you want. For me, having this routine has made me do things that I never really wanted to do, right? It's made me do things like uncomfortable things that I pushed myself. Reading was a big thing, right? I never read. I always wanted to read, but I got super distracted, and I embedded it into my morning routine. So I basically implemented habit stacking. Okay, so doing something that I already do as a morning routine, adding it to it so I make sure that I adhere and stick to it. Now, the reason why I'm doing push-ups is because I can't walk. Now I can't do my faster cardio. So not doing that
takes me out of the flow. I used to do my electrolytes, do my glutamine, then I'd go for my fasted walk, then I'd come back and I'd do a deep sesh, and I'd do a deep sesh before. But now, what I've noticed before implementing the new push-ups, I've forgotten days to take my damn glutamine and my damn electrolytes. And that's because I'm not in that flow state, right? Usually I just do it without even thinking. But now, because I've eliminated one entire thing, I haven't been able to do so. So now, what are we doing? Doing the push-ups. And there you have it. I had my electrolytes and my glutamine already. Then I'm gonna go have my breakfast, which you guys are gonna see in a minute. And I'm sorted, okay? I'm in the flow of things. That is why a morning routine is so important. It's so damn crucial. I've had majority of the guys in the lean mass method, right? We implement a 5-4-5 method, which is setting 5 big goals, having a 4-step morning routine. You can do more than that. And then 5 major tasks that are going to push the needle forward, okay? Which are gonna make the needle move, basically getting you to whatever goal you set out. You can use this in more than just fitness. You can use this in business, right? And it's just going to set up your day. Those tasks will have to be done on that exact day, okay? They are priorities, they are essentials. But it's helped a lot of my clients, okay? And we're gonna get breakfast down. It's like fucking 2:30 or something like that. Time to get food, or it's like 2:20, I'm not sure, I don't have a watch with me. But then we get that shit done. Then we go get the food down, and then I can finally show you what the progress is looking like. See what the pump is looking like. Boom. I'm looking decent. Okay, so I got my morning push-ups done. Back is a little bit sore. I did take painkillers this morning, so I didn't feel it as much, but I'm super stoked that I got those done. Now we're moving on to my first meal number 1. And as you guys can see, that is going to be 6 whole eggs. Damn, nice, getting lean. 6 whole eggs. We've got ground beef, okay, extra lean. I don't want too much animal fat in the system, even though there is chicken eggs as well. But I want to try and keep it as clean as possible, right? But the reason why I've got the protein and the fat so high is because obviously now I've pulled out carbs in my meal plan, okay? So that means I'm not going to get that extra energy which you would from carbs. So in order to not only boost energy, so the fats alone is going to give me sustainable energy throughout the day, because both eggs and both beef is going to be slow digesting. I'm going to have that like sustainable energy throughout the day. Not just that, it's going to make sure that I don't get those cravings, right? I'm not getting that massive sugar spike, because a lot of you guys tend to go wrong. A lot of people just have like cereal for breakfast or something stupid, even toast, and it's bad bread. You'll get this like little bit of energy, and then you'll drop, and then you'll actually start getting a bunch of cravings throughout the day. So this is going to prevent that from happening, specifically because I'm going through that depletion phase. And this week, like, I'm not even that hungry right now. Yes, I'm hungry, but I'm not like ridiculously hungry like I was maybe 2 weeks ago, because my body's adapted and it's gotten used to it, okay? But not just that, right? When it comes to this, okay, a lot of you guys make the mistake when you're trying to drop fat, you just like do this crazy crash diet. Don't fucking crash diet, okay? If you crash diet, you're gonna end up risking losing muscle tissue. All of that hard muscle, that hard work that you've put in to build that muscle during your bulk phase or your growth phase, and hopefully you didn't get fat in the process, because then you're almost like you're going to lose muscle tissue trying to drop all of that fat. That's why the priming and the depletion phase is very important before you go through that growth phase, is because you're going to lose muscle, okay? You don't want that shit to happen. If you're going through a big fast, you are going to potentially be in a catabolic state if you're not doing shit the right way. So you need to ensure that your first meal after doing a fast, it's like what, 2:30, 2:40 p.m. now, that you push the protein and the fats, because it's just going to regulate hormone levels, it's going to regulate cortisol, it's going to regulate testosterone. So make sure that shit is up and you get that recovery process going. So you go from a slightly catabolic to an anabolic state, and it smacks, okay? You're not going to get hungry. And that's why I have this. Do not make that mistake of just like following that fucking retarded keto diet, that stupid keto diet. But there you have it, guys. I'm going to have this meal, I'm going to get it down, then I'm going to show you guys exactly what the check-ins are looking like. I'm feeling pretty damn good. Those push-ups definitely helped. I think the pump is fairly gone now, okay, because I started to make the breakfast. But guys, I'll see you inside the dashboard.
Oh shit, and I completely forgot. I'll have a greens powder as well with my breakfast every day because what this is packed with fiber. Okay, it's also got 10 grams of protein, which is pretty damn sick. But the fiber is going to help with digestion. Guys, digestion is key when it comes to building muscle tissue, okay? Because what happens if you've got poor digestion? It means that you've got poor absorption, okay? Doesn't matter how good the food is or how much protein you're having. If your absorption isn't good, you're not going to get all of that in, and you're not going to get the benefits that you're hoping for. Well, let me slug this down. Oh. Right, gents, that absolutely smacked. Nice and energized now for the rest of the day. Super stoked. Okay, now this we will go toward at the end. Let's first hop into the dashboard. Okay, let's start with me. So let's see the progress with regards to weight. See the stats. See what we got here. Look at that. Look at that freaking drop. Started at 222 and we are all the way down to 213. So that's almost 10 pounds drop in less than where we now. Week 8, basically. And remember, 2 weeks, no training. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I've done that and why I've broken it down in that specific way. But I'm really happy, right? Okay, what was last week? It's basically almost 4 pounds dropped, 3 and a bit. Oh shit, so it's 3 and a bit. Nice. Can I take a look at the visuals? I'm definitely starting to get leaner in terms of like visually speaking. Like every time I look at myself in the mirror, like everything's starting to like get nice and dry slowly but surely. I obviously haven't been able to push it in the gym because I haven't been able to go. But once I implement the gym with that, it's just going to be next level. Really, really stoked to head back to the gym. I mean, 2 weeks is too many for me, if you ask me. But let's see what we got here. Let's see the visuals. Visuals weren't like the best looking. I'm not gonna lie, the lighting was like a little bit shitty today. Not the same, but we'll see what we're looking at. You see, it's like really dark there. I mean, here this last week's visuals actually look a lot better, but I think that's purely because of the lighting. Sheebas, you can still see how fucking skew that back is. Okay, then we've got this. Bit more definition, I'd say. Today's check-in with regards to the back. Triceps as well, looking nice and swole. Okay, midsection obviously not looking good at all. Lighting is just completely different here. But I've dropped 3 pounds and I'm super happy with it. And by the way that I'm looking at the mirror, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to show you guys CJ's dashboard as I promised. And I'll just give you an idea of like the changes that I made here. So let's first actually take a look at his progress. So this is where CJ started basically. Okay, this is maybe a couple weeks in. No, not even. Okay, so let's give you an idea. This is where CJ started. You can see there's a little bit of fat running around here. Midsection is not super tight, looking a little bit puffy, looking a bit bloated. Then let's see the back of that. Look at this. Check this. This is where you can always tell where the fat's sitting. It's usually on the corners there. That's the last fat that will always go. You're gonna check the difference now. Okay, you ready? Boom. Check that fucking transformation. This is unflexed, by the way. He's literally just chilling. He doesn't do any flexes, any other poses. And look at how his abs are showing. Can you imagine what his abs are going to look like when we start pushing carbs in, when his muscle bellies are so full, even going through the depletion. Now, what usually happens is you end up looking like super flat. But look at how full he's looking here. That's also because of that carb cycle. And now we're just going to push in the carbs and this is just going to explode. And when we push in those carbs, you're going to see his veins are going to start popping. He's going to start looking a lot drier as well. He's going to start looking a shitload fuller too. So I'm very, very happy with his progress. He's absolutely killed it. Absolute beast. Now, that's that. Okay. Very happy with the progress, considering everything. And now I'm just going to give you guys just a quick run through of why we implement the way that we do, okay, and how my meal plan is so you guys can actually take a look at it. So this is my current meal plan now as we speak, okay? So carb cycling meal plan overview. Now we've got 2 days, low days, high days. So now low days are obviously going to be with the days that I am not training, and the high days are going to be on the specific training days. Let me just give you like a quick, easier look here. what it looks like. So breakfast, as you can see, eggs, beef, which I had this morning. My snack will be Greek yogurt, frozen berries, dark chocolate, whey protein. I've already had a whey protein as well. Then this I usually tend to have like kind of a little bit later after dinner. Lunch, this is the only time that I'm really gonna have like proper carbs. And you know what? I haven't been craving carbs at all, funny enough. But there's obviously gonna be a little bit of carbs within the mix. Berries too, then whey protein, then dinner. I've also cut out carbs there, so I'll do broccoli or I'll do veg with beef again, and I'll add 4 eggs. So I'm having 10 eggs per day, but it's working like a damn bomb. Pre-workout meal, obviously I won't have. I've taken out the pre-workout meal. It no longer exists there, so we've replaced those. Then high day for when I will be training. And look, I'm sitting on 3,300 calories on a high day. On a low day, I'm sitting around 3,000 calories. Like, I mean, look at that. I'm not starving myself. I've got plenty of food and I've lost 3 pounds plus this week. Okay. That's the power of it. That is the power of it. So, breakfast, there's a little bit of toast I do have, and this will either be a whole grain bread or it will be sourdough. I prefer sourdough. I love it. It's way better for the digestion. It's not filled with a bunch of shit. It's not going to give you that sugar spike and that sugar drop. Okay, then we'll have jasmine rice for lunch, and I'll also have a carb source as well. Post-workout in specific, I want you to look at this. So I'll literally do cereal, right? Not in the morning, not when you wake up, cereal post-workout, because you want to replenish glycogen stores. You want a fast digesting carbohydrate, okay? You don't want normal milk. Normal milk is going to be shitty for your digestion, okay? I'm talking about cow's milk. It's going to be shit for your digestion. It's going to give you skin problems, and not just that, it's high in calories. Okay, so something like an almond milk is super low in calories. Look at that, 300 mils, 39 calories, barely anything. Dinner, for my high days, I will of course have some jasmine rice, and then I can always replace it with some sweet potato, some pasta, whatever I feel like, because I know how to manipulate macros in the correct way. A lot of people have this misconception that you can't enjoy good food or you can't eat out. Yes, you can, as long as you understand how to manipulate your macros, and as long as you understand if you're going to go out, take a client out for dinner, if you're going to go out, take your girlfriend out, whatever you're into, you know, you can, if you can manipulate the macros in the correct way. Now let's have a look here. So what is the purpose of a low day? Okay, now it's obviously to improve fat utilization, maintain muscle tissue, and control insulin response. Okay, so we will drop the carbohydrates on this day specifically. Okay, obviously because it is the low day. Now this is going to force the body to rely more on stored fat as a fuel source rather than glycogen and carbohydrates. Okay, glycogen doesn't need rapid replenishment, and that is because you're not training, you're not moving so much. Whenever you train, that is when the body uses glycogen, because that is going to be your main fuel source. Okay, so you don't need that on the non-training days. Now, we are also going to increase the fats, right? Hormone and energy support. This is also going to slow down digestion. Okay, but with regards to the hormones, okay, it's things like really good with cortisol and testosterone. Okay, and then energy, it's going to give you sustaining energy because it is slow digesting. It is going to give you that slow energy that you can have throughout the day, so you don't get that crash. You're not super tired, and that's why we push it up. It is also going to prevent that feeling of depletion, right? So when you go throughout the day, and so many people have come to me, oh, they can't stick to this crash diet. Like they tried this keto bullshit. Like, no shit, man, because you're not doing it. You're just dropping carbs and like only caring about protein. I mean, how many of you guys actually understand how fats, carbs, and proteins work, right? When you push the fats up in a specific way and you push the right types of fats up, you're not going to have that feeling of being flat and depleted and tired. And I haven't had that feeling once, right? I'm energized. I've literally had so far. Okay, and I'm super energized, and guess what? There's no carbs in it either, right? Except for a little bit of the what was the shit, the green juice. But yeah, then we'll keep the protein high, obviously, because we do not want any muscle wastage to occur. We don't want any muscle breakdown to occur. Now, obviously, this is also going to aid in muscle growth, Okay, the more protein you have, and so many people are like, pound per body weight. No, 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 not a gram for every pound of body weight. Look at my bloody protein intake. My protein intake is sitting at 396 grams. Everyone seems to be thinking, oh, I'm having enough protein. No, you're not. Most of you guys do not have enough protein. And I've had this, all the guys, like I've been on calls with guys I want to join. I'm only tracking my protein. Okay, what is your protein? Like for every kilogram, it's two whatever. No, dude, like your goal is to build muscle tissue. Your goal is not to maintain and just live, right? You want to get to a certain standard. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So it's also going to keep hunger levels under control. It's going to make you feel a lot more satiated because you can actually push the protein up as well. It's not going to aid that much to fat growth. So it's really, really good thing to do, especially if you're going in that deep depletion. Now, it's going to improve insulin sensitivity, and that is our main priority. That is our main goal, so we can be set up for a good growth phase. So we can set up to build lean quality mass. Now, on these low days, as a rest, for example, okay, it's going to keep your blood sugars stable. So it's not going to get that insulin spike. This is going to make sure that you're going to have better insulin response. Okay, so it's going to make the high days a lot more effective because the muscles can now absorb the glycogen much faster and way more efficiently. Okay, that is also a big priority that we want to get. Okay, so that when you do have those training days and you do push up the carbs, like here, you have that cereal, that your body is going to respond the way that you want it to, and that your body is not just going to store it as fat. Okay, so the purpose of a high day is to refill glycogen stores. It's to maximize performance and it's to signal muscle growth. That is why we still keep carbs, and that is why you don't follow a keto diet for super long periods of time, because we want to build muscle tissue. Okay, that's the point. That is what it's all about. Okay, increase carbs. You're going to push the carbs up because then the glycogen is going to replenish after your training. Hence, we've got the fast digesting carb. The cereal is going to maximize strength and recovery. Okay, depletion phase is very like, if you don't have carbs structured in the correct way, you're going to struggle at the gym. You're not going to show up at the gym. You're not going to give proper muscle stimulation, and you're not going to ensure that there's proper muscle recovery. So it's very important to structure the carbs in a specific way. Okay, now it's also going to signal anabolic signaling. Okay, so anabolic signaling is gonna boost protein synthesis, for example, and just overall cellular growth. Certain hormones come into play, things like growth hormone, things like testosterone and insulin as well. Okay. Now, you want to structure it around the workouts, as I mentioned, as it ensures the carbs are used efficiently and not stored as fat. It's going to make you train harder, recover faster. We've covered that. Now, the high protein, you want to keep the protein fairly similar. Okay, you're going to manipulate it slightly a little bit because you want to make sure those macro splits are different. Okay, and you want to still stay within the calorie range, but you're always going to keep that protein high. It's going to make sure that the muscle doesn't break down. It's the exact same with the low day. It's going to make sure that muscle growth is going to happen, and you also aren't going to get super hungry, because even though you do have carbs within that plan, but you shouldn't have hungry because of how you structure. And remember, I have fasted in specific until 2:30 so that I do not get hungry throughout the day, because I can manage in the mornings to go without carbs, okay, to go without food, because I'm not super hungry. But if I eat early, right, and I get through all of my meals, and let's say it comes to like 6 o'clock and it's dinner time, then I'm gonna get like peckish, man. I'm gonna go to snacks, and that's why pushing that meal later is so good. Because let's say you have your meal at like 2 o'clock, then you're gonna have your lunch at around like 5 o'clock. No, cheapest, yeah, around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Then dinner comes, you're gonna have around 7, and then you still got snacks to get down and things like that. So that's why restructuring it with regards to time periods is also very, very beneficial. Okay, now other reasons, it's going to prevent metabolic slowdown. This is common when it comes to chronic low intake, so that's following that keto diet. A lot of people, like, I've seen plenty of times where there's guys with a lot of fat on their frame, and they're fucking consuming 1,600 calories, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think I've pushed any of my clients to 1,600 calories, maybe someone that's like really small, but never ever. Like if you are sitting at 140 kilograms, or not even, if you're sitting at 110 kilograms or 100 kilograms of fat, and you eating 1,600 calories and you're not losing weight, then your metabolism is messed up. Okay. So you need to make sure that to do a complete reverse in order to break through that plateau. Okay. Now it's also going to increase serotonin. It's so important to have these high days, also for sanity, right? Not a lot of people can manage these depletion phases for a little bit of time. And remember, the most important thing is consistency. And that's also why I will preach and forever preach to have cheat meals, because not only is it going to work with your weak points, if you, let's say your chest is shitty, like you want to increase your chest, having a cheat meal at a specific time is going to make sure that you further aid growth in that aspect. Okay. And it's going to keep you sane. Like you want a balanced lifestyle. You don't want to be a bodybuilder unless you are a bodybuilder, because then you have to do bodybuilder protocols, but you can still achieve a freaking insane physique without living that bodybuilding lifestyle. Okay. So it's going to give you the dopamine, the serotonin, make you feel good, not make you hate the process, and basically keep you sane and stop you from growing crazy. So the overall purpose, the priming, as we know, the lean mass method, the priming phase and the depletion phase is to burn fat, add muscle, and not become a skinny little bitch at the end of it. Okay. And then for our growth phase and the optimal phase, we want to build dense, lean muscle mass and not become a fat. Okay. And that is basically that. Now you've got a much better idea of why we have high days and why we have low days and how they are so beneficial. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find value from it. I hope you actually watch it, take it in, implement it, take notes. As always, appreciate you. Love you guys. Check you for the next one.